and welcome to this RapidDeploy version 4.0 how-to guide. My name is Richard Bettison and today we're going to be looking at package comparison. So in RapidDeploy it's possible to compare packages over time so that you can see what's changed in your deployments or what is going to change in a deployment that you haven't yet carried out. So if we log into RapidDeploy and we go to a project, and today I'm using one of the demo projects that we dealt with in the webcasts on the basics of RapidDeploy 4.0. I'm going to look at this WebSphere 8.5 Configure JPET Store demo. And if you remember when we did the WebSphere deployment and then subsequently performed continuous delivery from Jenkins, we made some changes to the configuration and we also made some changes to the code. If we go and click on the Packages tab for this project, you'll see that I've got here 4 packages, one of which hasn't yet been deployed, the others have. And we can easily compare these packages with each other by using these arrows here on the right hand side to compare. So you select a left side and a right side, and you need to have installed the correct plugins to be able to do this comparison, although the Beyond Compare plugins come by default in the assembly. Now Beyond Compare is an external product and you should license it independently. It comes with a 30-day trial license, so you can see if you like it, and then you will need to buy the license for that separately. So let's go ahead and click on the left side to compare here and the right side to compare this one, and then down here we select the plugin that we want to use. I'm going to choose the Beyond Compare for Mac because I'm currently running on a Mac. I'm going to run this. Okay, and now I just click on here and I see this comparison window come up, and now we're actually in Beyond Compare. I can change the rules here. I don't want to compare the timestamps, I know they're going to be different, but I will compare the file size. Actually I'm going to compare the checksum. Okay, and so now let's go and have a look and see what's different. Now you can see on here that there are some components and directories that are in grey. They are the same between both packages, and some that are in red, and these are the differences. So first of all, let's go and have a look at the data dictionary. I'm just going to double click on that and we see that we then can compare on both sides. And on the left hand side here you can see that there's a scrollable bar which shows where all of the differences are. So we're just going to click down here on this difference and see that we actually had changed a resource in the tool. In fact, what we changed is the JVM max heap size, which over here was just defaulted to 512. Subsequently in the 004 jar, you can see the different. This is the 002 jar up here on the top right, and the 004 on the top left. We can see that we changed the default value for all environments. For this specific environment, test JPET store on the AWS Linux sudo MidVision WASND server, to 768. So we changed from using entirely default 512 on the right hand side here to a default 512 but with an exception of 768 on this server. Okay, let's go back. We'll also look at the meta-inf. The manifest will have changed. The build date here you can see has changed between the two jars. Well, we'd expect that. And of course the version, which matches the version of the actual jar file name. And then if we go and have a look in J2EE, we've got our JPET store, which we deployed as part of both of those two projects that we used in the RapidDeploy version 4.0 basics webinars. Go and have a look in there and have a look inside the WAR file. I'm not going to bother looking at the manifests. And if we look in the CSS, and if you remember back to the webcast, what we actually did was we changed the background color from 476 to 486, and you can see that there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this now. The packages info doesn't really matter, that's an internal thing. Well, we won't bother looking at that. I'll close that. Okay, so that's a very quick overview of how you can compare packages on the project. It's also possible to do this comparison at deployment time, just before you run a deployment, to compare the package that you're going to deploy with the previously deployed package on that server. So if you go to Jobs, New Job, and select that project. And I should point out that this plugin will only actually work on Firefox. It won't work on Chrome because Chrome doesn't support the use of applets anymore. At this point here, we can take a snapshot of the target environment. We'll cover that in a later how-to guide. But we can also compare this package with another version. So again, we can compare it with 002. We select the Beyond Compare for Mac, and again we could run that comparison. I'm not going to bother doing that now, we've already done exactly that. So that concludes this how-to guide on how to compare packages in RapidDeploy. Thank you very much.